Hey YouTubers, Grimmy Dragon here, and once again it's review time. And today we're doing a bit of a double review because we are going to be looking at the SH Figuarts Revival Kamen Rider Black RX, and which otherwise known as Masked Rider. Yeah, I knew it as Masked Rider because of the Saban series, but I know a lot of fans will know this as Kamen Rider Black RX. And we're also looking at his motorcycle, Acrobatter, and I can't even remember what it was called on the US show, so yeah, we're just sticking with Acrobatter here. Anyway, being a Figuarts figure, this is really good stuff. You know, they never skimp on details, and they did a great job with Masked Rider here. And that is an excellent sculpt. And what's really nice is that it's not exaggerated detail like you'd see on a Bandai America figure. Sorry, kind of made them lose balance, but yeah, you wouldn't, like, the details are not something you'd see on a Bandai American figure because yeah, you don't have any super exaggerated muscles here. I mean, it really does look like a guy in a suit. And I like that. I really like that. I mean, it's far more accurate to the show. And, and he's believable. I mean, those modern legacy figures I've seen, while not as bad as previous action figures, are still a little over exaggerated for my tastes. So I'm very happy with this one. Well, they didn't make a legacy Masked Rider, but that would be interesting since he did have a guest spot on the Power Rangers TV show. But yeah, all the same, I really like this figure. Got some nicely done paint apps on the head, good sculpt. You can actually see there are compound eyes in the big red translucent lenses. So you got some details for there. Yeah, he's got a bug face. That's kind of the point. I mean, Kamen Riders always have bug-like faces. It's very standard. But yeah, nice paint apps for the henshin device on his belt. And the costume's done very well. Anywhere you would think you'd see creases, you will see creases. Like on the on the pants, you can definitely tell that he's got a lot of creases there, which is kind of strange in some way. But yeah, they got some folds of fabric on the legs, which is really good detail. I do like that. And it's got this nice finish to it. So he's a well done action figure. So before we get into articulation, let's get a closer look at the bike, because Acrobatter is also well done. A beautiful metallic blue finish with some yellow, black, and white highlights. Got the RX logo right there. Got some nice silver on this exhaust. Die-cast metal back here too, which is really cool, and good shocks too. Got a metal stand, and yeah, you got the little clip here that will help it stand when it's not on the kickstand. So that's pretty cool. It also has visible compound eyes in the lenses, which is pretty cool. And again, a bug face. Like I said, kind of the theme. So, guess next up we will look at articulation on RX here. So you got a ball jointed head, a little hindered by the way the neck is, but honestly I doubt it's as hindered as the show model would have it, because the neck is segmented, so you can get some left and I think I got some, oh there we go, right movement. Careful, some of the segments might get stuck if you try to move it too much. You can look down a little, look up a little. I mean, it's not bad. And you got that all that roll around. So yeah, very nice neck joint. You got some universal joints at the shoulders. Also have a ball joint in there and a butterfly joint, so plenty of movement. No bicep swivel, but you can use that ball joint inside the shoulder to simulate one for certain poses. Though you're going to have to mess with it a little bit, and it kind of will interfere with the look. The shoulder pads are also on hinge and ball joints, so you can move them out of the way as you need to. Double jointed elbows, pretty cool. You got some ball joints at the wrists. You also got a hinge and a rotation below the hinge, so you can get this moving all around as you want. Pretty cool. Got a ball joint above and below the belt, so plenty of movement. It's pretty cool. Got ball joints at the hips, so they can go forward, back, in and out. You got the that little pull down hinge at the bottom, so you can kick a little bit higher or go out a bit further. Pretty good. Got some thigh swivel, a little bit, not a whole lot. I'd say human level at least. So you got double jointed knee, some forward backward at the ankle, some pivot, and a toe. So yeah, plenty of articulation, just what you'd expect from SH Figuart. And another thing one would expect from an SH Figuart, well, that would be a ton of accessories. And I mean a ton of accessories. So, I guess we should get a quick rundown of them. Because you got quite a few hands, a couple of swords, an extra belt buckle piece, and, well, something for the sword, which is pretty cool. And we're going to go over that, starting with the hands. So you can see he's got the fists, which, you know, good for punching enemies. But you can just take those off. They just unpeg. And you can exchange them for a sort of holding hand. These are kind of the angled holding hands. They can be a little tricky to get in. There we go. Because you gotta get them in that ball joint, and if you're like me and don't put them in all the time, it can be a little difficult. But yeah, you got like an angled holding hand for the left hand, and an angled holding hand with a pointing finger at the other one. So you can actually point at enemies or friends or whatever. So yeah, you got that. But since they are for holding, you can also put in either one of the Rebolkens, or Electro Sabers, if you will. And you got the translucent one. And you'll get a better idea why it's translucent in a sec. And you also get the more standard one, which is pretty cool. You can also just pop out the sabers and swap them. So if you want the Rebolken to be a lightsaber, you can. Or a facsimile lightsaber. Now these aren't the only hands that he has, and there's more we can do with the sword, so let's just get a quick rundown on what kind of hands we got. So we also have Karate Chop. Flat hands for action poses or just looking kinda odd. Calm open hands for more relaxed, easygoing, just chilling there poses. Some oddly posed open hands for more grapply poses, like fighting or grappling with an enemy. These are also the good ones for riding the motorcycle, which I'll show off a little later. And last but not least, some more standard holding things hands for holding on to the Rebolken. So yeah, that's a pretty good one to have. You got the right and the left. But that's not the only thing you can do with the Rebolken, because as I mentioned, there are a couple other accessories to go with it. For example, you have this kind of half-formed Rebolken thing, which you can use to kind of simulate it, pulling it out of the Henshin device, provided you can actually get a good pose for it doing so. Oh, it would help to get that on screen. But yeah, tricky part is actually get him posed just right to where it's coming out of the buckle. Of course, there is an actual special buckle for this. So we'll switch to the translucent Rebolken, and there's actually a fingernail slot right below the buckle, so you can actually pull out the Henshin device, which has got some nice translucent plastic to it as well. We can get it in camera. I had to touch mine up with a little gold paint because this thing chips very easily. You gotta watch this. But then you can just pop the other one in, and you may notice that it has something sticking out, which you can actually pop the Rebolken into. Again, bicep swivels would have really helped for this particular pose. Okay, apparently it was meant for the left hand to pull out. I actually had to look into instructions for this. But yeah. Okay, you can actually get him pulling the Rebolken out of his waist, which is pretty interesting. And this is kind of the reason we have a translucent one. So yeah, kind of because it starts off kind of materializing out of light. And this is what's meant to simulate that. But in any case, we're going to get him back, switched back, and do a comparison real quick. So, okay, so before we get a look at Acrobatter a little bit more, let's get a comparison with Masked Rider here with one of the Power Rangers, since he did guest spot on an episode of Power Rangers. And we'll just bring in the White Ranger. As you can see, they look pretty good together. I'd say Masked Rider's a little bit taller than the White Ranger, but not by much, and they look like they're pretty well in scale with each other. So I think that works out quite well. So yeah, he will go well with your Power Rangers if you choose to display him with those guys. Now, for Acrobatter, there are a couple things to note. I'm just going to get Masked Rider ready for this because I kind of want to make sure he can ride well. And just to note, be careful with the ball joints on the hands. They haven't broken on me, but sometimes they feel like they might if I pull too hard. So just be careful with those. That's yeah. Nice thing about this, this one has a few tricks to it. One is that the outer shell is removable. Part of the original design for this, because it was supposed to be 2 bikes in one, which was a cool feature, but not really necessary for this, and honestly it's better than trying to have to buy 2 bikes for 2 riders anyway. But here's the inner shell, which has a little bit, like I said, a little die cast at the back and some spring-loaded shocks. This is pretty cool. Well painted. Even under the shell, you got this nice bit of engine work. Got a little bit of bug-like seat there. And yeah, the bug eyes done up in silver, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the inside of these is translucent. Like they're done up in a translucent plastic and then painted the metallic colors. So yeah, they're a little delicate, but if it's like me, you're not going to be taking the armor off too often. Just doing it for demonstration purposes. But yeah, it just has some pre-designed. See these little holes? There are the little pegs on the battle hopper, or on the shell of the Acrobatter, and they just peg together like that. This piece just slides on, clips onto here. I don't know my bike parts all too well. And, this part clips onto the spokes, and voila. That's pretty cool. We can also, of course, seat our Kamen Rider Black RX onto the Acrobatter and put his hands on. Now he is a little big for the bike, regrettably. These bikes were actually designed for a smaller figure originally, so sometimes the Figuarts will look a little awkward on them. But all in all, I think it works fine. You know, it's not bad. He looks good riding it. I mean, tires are rubber, so they roll very well. Of course, he's not going to stand on his own, but he does have a kickstand to stand up. And yeah, he fell off. But he does have a kickstand to stand up. He has this little clip, so you can kind of have him looking like an action pose. You can have him on that. No kickstand needed. And for aerial poses, well, you get this. A little clip that goes underneath, just clips on. And if you happen to have a Tamashii stage handy, you just plug it in like so, and voila, he's flying. Okay, do we have anything that we can use as ET here? Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Hold on a sec. Oh, we'll use Peter here. Da, 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 da. Yeah, if only I had a moon background, that would be perfect. Okay, silliness aside, this is pretty cool. I do like it. I mean, Tamashii stages are always good to have, so yeah, definitely would recommend getting one for this. But yeah, these two, the figure and bike, are sold separately, regrettably, but I would, if you're going to get one, you got to get the other because they are such a good set to have. And I like this figure. I did watch Masked Rider a lot before syndication kind of threw the schedule completely out of whack. But yeah, I did like it. And I do recommend these toys. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. And I will see you next time. So until then, goodbye out there. Whatever you are.